Welcome to Dragon Slayer Academy, where the only thing deadlier than the curriculum is staying alive until graduation. In this world, you level up through accidents. And trust me, the school has a lot of them planned. Because after graduation, you're not getting a diploma, you're getting thrown to the wolves, literally. And our guy? He's not just another student, he's the undisputed rank number 1 of this entire death trap. But here's the twist. He's not a damage dealer. He's the world's most overpowered support. His skills are immediately put to the test when a portal unleashes hell right in the middle of the academy. These things aren't just monsters, they're nightmares given teeth, and they are hungry. But the S-rank saint, Lee Seo, unleashes a holy blast, proving her title isn't just for show. Not to be outdone, the Ruby Tower Master Yuna counters with an absolute inferno of her own. While the S-ranks handle the mob, the real boss appears, and the silent swordsman steps up to face it alone. This is the Black Knight, Ko-Yohan, and when he draws his sword, you know things are about to get serious. But our guy isn't even watching the fight. He's looting the dungeon for a legendary upgrade item. He calls over a low-level vampire, revealing his true passion wasn't fighting, but the Raise a Hero system. His real talent? Taking a nobody first year and turning them into a certified S-rank legend. She accepts the stone, and a surge of dark energy promises a spectacular transformation. And just like that, he's created his 1000th S-rank hero, the Vampire Queen Carmilla. Plot twist. The entire academy, the monsters, the S-ranks, it was all just a game he finally beat. After achieving God-tier status, he takes off his headset with one question. What do you do when there's nothing left to win? He's so bored with being overpowered that he's thinking of raising mediocre characters just for the challenge. But right as he's about to log off, a mysterious notification pops up that's about to change everything. The game hits him with a pop-up, a special quest, a reward for being the first player to ever create 1000 S-ranks. The mission: save the world. The difficulty? X-rank, a tier of power he never knew existed. Suddenly, his army of S-ranks looks like child's play, because a whole new tier of X-rank heroes just entered the field. For a guy this bored, new content is a challenge he can't possibly refuse. He's all in. But this isn't just a quest, it's a one-way ticket into the game itself. He wakes up not in his chair, but inside the game. The god-tier player is now just another character. He's not just in the game, he's been reset to level 1 in the tutorial zone. He pulls up his status window, and it's a total nightmare. Every skill, trait, and item is gone. But just as despair sets in, the system drops him a care package, a set of unique reincarnation perks. He thinks that's all, but the system chimes in again, because his starting bonus isn't over yet. The system immediately throws him into tutorial part 2, with a simple objective: survive for 10 minutes. He remembers this part. Just dodge a few weak mobs, right? But the ground is shaking way too hard for that. He looks up, and whatever's coming is big enough to block out the entire sun. This isn't a tutorial mob, it's a full-blown S-rank dragon, and this quest just became a boss raid. Scratch that, there are 2 of them. The X-rank quest is already trying to spawn kill him. One hit from that inferno, and his grand return is over before it even starts. But running is for newbies. He realizes this is the perfect chance to test out one of his new perks. His copy ability lets him steal any skill, but only if he witnesses it at the exact moment of activation. A feat impossible for anyone else, but for the game's former number 1 player, it's just another Tuesday. His eyes lock on, not just watching the dragon's ultimate skill, but preparing to make it his own. And just like that, he snags an S-rank passive trait before he's even level 2. He's got the software, but his level 1 body is missing the hardware to actually cast anything. But his victory lap is cut short when he realizes the laws of physics are suddenly breaking around him. The red dragon is powering up its signature move, a literal hellfire breath attack. And its blue counterpart is charging a lightning storm that could vaporize a mountain. He realizes his new resistance won't save him from being at ground zero of 2 ultimate attacks. One is a tide of pure inferno, aimed directly at him. The other is a storm of absolute destruction, leaving him no room to escape. The 2 attacks collide, engulfing the entire tutorial zone in a blinding flash of light. And then the system window pops up. He wasn't meant to fight the dragons, he just had to survive them. Tutorial complete, and his reward is a one-way ticket back to the most dangerous school on Earth. His first encounter isn't a monster, but a future hero trying and failing to wake up a mysterious girl. The guy's got zero game, he can't even get her to open her eyes. And that's our protagonist's cue to step in, looking less like a hero and more like a guy who just wants to sit down. The other student tries to explain the situation, but our MC has a knack for dealing with future S ranks. She finally wakes up, and that bandage on her cheek tells you she's already been through a tutorial of her own. He asks, she agrees, and just like that he's sitting across from Seo Ye-in, a name you're going to want to remember. He introduces himself as Kim Ho, and the girl gives her name while another future hero crashes the scene. This is Go Hyun-woo, and he's just invited himself to the table, creating a party of legends before orientation even starts. Our guy's expert eyes immediately recognize the signs. He's sitting next to a textbook shonen protagonist, and the game is already getting interesting. They're casually comparing notes on their near-death experience, but our guy is the only one who knows it was a rigged test. He realizes this isn't his old game. It's a parallel world, and his perfect knowledge is suddenly full of holes. The faces on the train are all wrong. None of the original heroes he raised are here. This means the entire future has been rewritten, and he's flying completely blind for the first time. But he's not the only one noticing things, because the girl next to him hasn't taken her eyes off him. Turns out Seo Ye-in has a unique skill, an appraisal eye that can read anyone's status window. She glances at the shonen hero and sees exactly what you'd expect, a D-rank nobody with a long way to go. But when she looks at our protagonist, her system breaks. His status is a wall of unreadable code. He finally calls her out on the staring, completely unaware that she just discovered he's an anomaly. And just like that, the girl who can see everyone's secrets is getting flustered by some simple advice. She's so flustered she almost bolts, but then she pulls out her secret weapon to change the subject. A peace offering? Or a way to shut him up? Either way, it's a cookie. He takes the bait, completely oblivious to the fact that she just tried to read his soul. With the attention off her, she turns to the shonen hero, finally asking about the giant weapon he's been lugging around. And here it comes. It's not just a sword, it's a sealed sacred relic from his super-secret martial arts clan. He claims he's not strong enough to unseal it, but in the same breath says he's never met anyone worth fighting. Our guy just smiles, playing along, but you know his brain is already calculating this kid's entire future growth chart. Just when you think the party is set, another future big shot crashes the scene, loud, obnoxious, and probably hiding a ridiculous skill. But our MC isn't fooled by the noise. He notices the guy has the footsteps of an assassin, and his danger sense is tingling. This isn't a fighter. It's the Academy's legendary information broker, and he just handed our guy the key to exploiting this entire school. Our guy calls him out immediately. The info broker isn't just making a sales pitch, he's running for his life. The broker tries to laugh it off, but our protagonist's game sense is so sharp, he can read a player's anxiety from across the room. But just as he's about to confess, the color drains from his face, because his pursuers have finally caught up. The door slides open and the Academy's welcome wagon is here, delivering a single chilling message. You're caught. It's the disciplinary committee, the school's self-appointed executioners, and they've just cornered their first target of the year. These aren't just prefects, they're elite first years handpicked to enforce the Academy's law, and their trial by fire starts now. The committee leader cuts straight to the point. She's here for a forbidden item, and she's not leaving without it. And to prove she's serious, her subordinate unleashes a jolt of power that lights up the entire train car. She's a rare lightning mage, a class known for its overwhelming speed and power, and she's just put on a free demonstration. But for our MC, this isn't a threat. It's a shopping opportunity, and he's about to add a rare skill to his collection. With the pleasantries over, the committee leader makes it clear. She's taking the item, one way or another. Her subordinate doesn't hesitate, channeling a high-voltage attack meant to end this chase instantly. She unleashes Hummingbird, a lightning-fast projectile designed to paralyze its target on contact. The info broker can only brace for impact, knowing he's way out of his league. But the attack never lands, because someone just stepped in and stopped it cold. Our guy just caught a lightning bolt with his bare hands like it was a fly ball. The committee leader is stunned, demanding to know who his accomplice is. He steps out of the shadows, but he's not here to talk about forbidden items. This whole mess just became personal, because they made him drop his cookie. And just like that, the elite enforcer is completely speechless, her authority shattered by a baked good. He's not mad about the attack, he's mad about the cookie, and he's about to make it everyone's problem. The committee leader calls his bluff, completely underestimating the guy who would start a war over a baked good. And just like that, the shonen hero picks a side, ready to throw down for a guy he just met over a snack. The entire train car holds its breath as a single cookie crumb threatens to start the first war of the school year. Realizing she's in over her head, the committee leader tries to de-escalate with the ultimate weapon, a cafeteria coupon. But our guy isn't a hero. He just got what he wanted, and the info broker is officially on his own. Because while they were arguing, he was shopping, and he just added a rare lightning skill to his cart, free of charge. Plot twist. The high-stakes chase, the forbidden item, the entire confrontation, it was all over a stolen wig. He walks away not just with a new skill, but with a warning for the committee. The info broker is now under his protection. She leaves defeated, but not before marking him as her #1 rival, a promise of revenge he's probably already counting on. With the threat gone, the info broker starts dropping names, and these aren't just any students. That lightning mage? She's Song Chun-hai, granddaughter of the legendary Thunderlord, basically royalty with a kill switch. And her backup isn't any better. We're talking disciples of the Fist King and the Sword Empress. This school's welcome wagon is a team of future legends. With the intel dropped, the broker makes a quick, cheerful exit, leaving our heroes to process the absolute chaos. But the shonen hero has to ask, was it really about the cookie? Our guide just smirks, admitting the snack was just an excuse to go window shopping for rare magic. The hero's not buying it. How could he know so much about a spell he's supposedly never seen before? He tries to break it down. It was fast, a stun spell, not a damage spell, but he's completely missing the bigger picture. Our guy just smiles, calls his analysis half correct, and then summons a perfect copy of the lightning spell right in his hand. He then gives a free masterclass, explaining that the spell's form reveals the caster's true skill level. And the final insult? He points out that if she were any good, her attack would have adapted. He didn't just dodge her spell, he judged it and found it lacking. He breaks it down for the class. A real pro would never have let him catch their spell so easily. And that's not even the most impressive part of his analysis. He deduces her hidden potential. She's packing way too much power for such a low-level spell. The shonen hero is starstruck, but our MC is just adding another future legend to his recruitment list. The hero is so impressed he basically swears a blood oath right then and there. Our guy never misses an opportunity, immediately cashing in that loyalty for a secret mission. He leads him to the train's abandoned casino, a place full of forgotten treasures for those who know where to look. The hero sees a broken machine, but our protagonist sees a hidden opportunity. He drops a coin in, playing it cool while the hero calls him crazy. And just like that, he hits the jackpot on a broken machine, triggering a secret event only he could find. He's not just gambling, he's exploiting a hidden system, and he knows exactly which lever to pull. The machine spits out its grand prize, not a jackpot, but a single mysterious potion. Plot twist. The legendary item is a bottle of water, and the hero's disappointment is palpable. The hero starts getting cold feet, realizing they're breaking major school rules for a glorified vending machine. Our guy waves it off, telling him to relax. Famous last words before the universe proves him wrong. And speak of the devil, the disciplinary committee is here, and our MC's perfect plan just got a major complication. He tells the hero to buy him some time, and the kid looks way too excited for a simple distraction. The committee member lays down the law, warning him that being an accomplice comes with a heavy price. But the shonen hero is all in, ready to take the heat for a guy he barely knows. He doesn't just stall her. He challenges the disciple of the Sword Empress to a duel, turning a simple distraction into a high-stakes showdown. She doesn't just accept the challenge, she's been waiting for a real fight all day. He meets her charge head-on, and the clash of future legends rings through the entire train. It's a perfect stalemate. The unstoppable force meets the immovable shonen protagonist. But she's not just any sword wielder, she starts channeling her own energy, and the tide of the battle instantly turns. And just like that, our hero is on the back foot, his raw strength no match for her refined technique. The disciple of the Sword Empress is putting on a clinic, and our hero is about to fail the pop quiz. But our guy isn't just watching, he's judging, and he's decided to give his new pawn a secret little boost. With a single thought, he secretly buffs the hero's stats, turning a one-sided beatdown into a fair fight. Suddenly, the hero isn't just surviving, he's pushing back, fueled by a power he doesn't even know he has. He's not just helping a friend. He's field testing his new toy, and the results are looking very, very promising. While his new friend is fighting for his life, our guy is about to break the casino's biggest secret. This isn't a game of chance. It's a machine with a built-in pity system, and he knows exactly how to trigger it. 5 spins to prime the pump, using up every coin a new player gets. And with one last borrowed coin, he's about to cash in on an exploit no one else ever found. Because on the 6th spin, the jackpot isn't a possibility, it's a guarantee. But this isn't just a potion, it's a dark ice crystal, a C-rank item that comes with a simple warning. You could die. Just as he gets his prize, the disciple of the Sword Empress comes crashing through and his time is officially up. But he's not even fazed because getting the item wasn't the end of the plan. The distraction did its job, and he just saw everything he needed to see from their fight. And with the committee watching in horror, he downs the deadly crystal, ready to unleash a whole new level of power. The crystal hits his system, and for a split second, it looks like he just made a fatal mistake. But he just brushes it off with a smile, leaving the committee wondering if they just saw a ghost. Back with his new friends, he plays it cool, calling the deadly poison a simple mana potion. But in reality, he just chugged an item that could turn any normal player into a permanent ice sculpture. His S-rank resistance isn't just blocking the poison, it's turning a death sentence into a free power-up. Meanwhile, the disciplinary committee is in total disarray, trying to figure out how a level 1 just broke their ace. His new allies are already hooked, but the girl with the appraisal eye wants to see his impossible trick one more time. He plays it coy, claiming a cooldown, because the #1 rule of being overpowered is never showing your full hand. She seems to buy it for now, but our guy promises more action is coming, and he's not wrong. And just like that, they've arrived at Dungeon Island. The tutorial is over, and the real game is about to begin. The island's history is written in blood, a lawless wasteland until one hero decided to clean house. He didn't just fight monsters, he conquered the entire island, one dungeon at a time. And on that foundation of chaos, he built the most lethal school in existence, Dragon Slayer Academy. Welcome to campus, where the scenery is beautiful and the survival rate is not. The seniors are herding the freshmen like cattle, and you just know half of them won't make it to midterms. While everyone else is distracted by the chaos, our guy is already scanning the crowd for future assets and threats. But his quiet observation is cut short, because trouble has a way of finding him first. It's a member of the student council, and that look on her face says this isn't a friendly welcome. Not even an hour on campus, and he's already being escorted to the disciplinary committee's office. They don't just give you detention here, they throw you in the room of truth, a place where secrets and students go to get broken. They hit him with a debuff scanner, expecting to see a fatal poison, but the machine comes up completely clean. The committee writes it off as a dud item, completely missing the fact he just absorbed a C-rank artifact right under their noses. But then the real boss steps out of the shadows. Oh Se-hoon, head of the disciplinary committee, with a smile that's more of a warning. He lets our guy off with a friendly, "Don't do it again," but you know this is just the calm before the storm. And as he leaves, he clocks the lightning mage staring him down. She's not buying his innocent act for a second. The committee head starts connecting the dots, realizing our guy's actions weren't random. They were the moves of a master manipulator. They both know what they saw, a kid who willingly consumed a death sentence and walked away without a scratch. Her theory? He didn't just survive the item, he used it to get an illegal skill, and she's ready to use a high-level scan to prove it. But the leader shuts her down. What happens if they scan him and find nothing? They'll have made an enemy of a monster for no reason. He's not dropping the case. He's just telling her to be patient, turning this from a simple investigation into a long-term hunt. He's dismissed with a smile, but our guy knows he's just been put on the top of the committee's hit list. Back with his future S-rank party, he plays the part of a clueless freshman, but his mind is already 10 steps ahead. And just for showing up on time, the system drops him another reward. This game is practically paying him to break it. The ceremony begins, and the head of the most dangerous school on Earth walks out looking like a retired gym teacher. But don't let the tracksuit fool you. This is the former leader of the Dragon Slayer team, a living legend. He's the one and only hero of his generation, but even legends have their weaknesses, like getting rejected by the Saintess 4 times. Correction, it's 5 times now, and our guy is absolutely living for the drama. The legendary hero clears his throat, ready to give an inspiring speech to the next generation of cannon fodder. He reminds them this school was built for one purpose: to train killers for a war against dragons. The founder wanted them to understand the weight of being a slayer, a lesson most of these kids are about to learn the hard way. The headmaster asks them what it means to be a slayer, but our guy's already bored. He wrote the textbook on this stuff. While the shonen hero is getting pumped, the girl next to him is literally getting a headache from the cringe. The speech finally ends, not with a bang, but with the vice principal basically shoving him off the podium. The hero is totally inspired, but our MC's sarcasm is so thick you could cut it with a knife, and the kid doesn't notice a thing. Next on the agenda, a school-wide announcement about forbidden items, and our guy is practically the poster child for breaking that rule. They're officially banned from the lower dungeon floors, a rule our protagonist is already planning to shatter before dinner. The warning is ice cold. One wrong move doesn't just get you expelled, it gets your entire guild blacklisted. And just like that, the ceremony's over, leaving our guy thinking this death trap of a school is surprisingly efficient. But before they can even get up, a familiar face crashes the party, and he's sporting a fresh battle scar. It's the info broker, brushing off his near-death experience with the committee and introducing yet another future legend to the crew. The info broker signs off with a smile, but for our protagonist, the first day of school starts tonight. And just his luck, the shonen hero is his next-door neighbor, a coincidence our guy is already regretting. But sleep is for the weak, and our protagonist has a whole new body to upgrade before sunrise. With the entire academy asleep, it's the perfect time to exploit a system no one else knows exists. He's not resting, he's preparing to perform a feat that should be impossible for a level 1. His mission: to forge a mana core, the internal engine that powers every S-ranker in existence. It's a high-level technique he's only ever seen in theory, but for a god-tier player, theory is enough. And thanks to that deadly crystal he chugged earlier, he's got more than enough fuel to break the game's power curve. Meanwhile, his shonen rival is doing the same, completely unaware he's about to be left in the dust. That duel with the committee member wasn't just a distraction. It was a wake-up call that he's no longer the strongest kid on the block. He replays the fight in his head and realizes the cold, hard truth. Without our guy's secret buff, he would have been toast. For the shonen hero, our guy isn't just a friend anymore. He's a master, a walking legend he's just lucky enough to know. He's so humbled he's actually considering asking for help, a move that goes against every shonen protagonist rule in the book. But his pride kicks in. He's not going to be a sidekick, he's going to earn his power on his own terms. And while the hero is having an identity crisis, our guy is casually rewriting the laws of mana like it's a weekend hobby. The next morning, it's the first day of class, and our future legends are all gathered in one place. And in walks Seo Ye-in, looking like she just rolled out of bed, but already zeroing in on our protagonist. The bell rings, but the teacher's podium is empty, because in a school like this, your homeroom teacher is probably a final boss. And just as the students start to wonder, the classroom door slides open. And their teacher is none other than Lee Soo-dok, a man whose reputation is so infamous the entire class freezes on the spot. He puts a random student on the spot asking for his infamous nickname, and the kid is about to have a panic attack. But our guy chimes in from the back, cool as ever, with the 3 syllables that make grown men tremble: the human butcher. In a world of superhumans, there are always those who use their power for evil. And this teacher? He's the guy they send to clean up the mess, earning his nickname by leaving a trail of defeated villains in his wake. He claims he's only teaching as a favor, but when a professional killer says he's going to do a job, you listen. And his teaching philosophy is simple. He'd rather see you in a coffin than see you fail his class. With the death threats out of the way, he casually moves on to the syllabus because this is still a school, apparently. The grading system is a trap. Your attitude score can literally drag you down to 0, and he's the one grading it. He throws a look at our MC with a chilling promise that if they cause trouble, their final exam will be with him personally. And the practicals are exactly what you'd expect from a death school: dungeon raids and student-on-student combat. And the final twist? It's graded on a curve, meaning you don't just have to pass, you have to beat the person next to you. With the death threats delivered, the teacher drops the chalk and sends them straight to the arena for their first test. And just like that, the placement exams begin, turning the first day of school into an all-out battle royale. The entire freshman class is thrown into the ring, and the shonen hero is absolutely living for this chaos. But this isn't just sparring. The official rule for their first match is a full-blown death match. The only safety net is a 5-minute time limit, turning every duel into a frantic race against the clock. And if you lose or draw, you get nothing. In this school, participation trophies don't exist. But while everyone else is focused on the fight, our guy gets a private message from the game system. The mission, survive the placement exam. The reward, another slot for his broken copy skill. But he's not the only one scouting the competition, because the lightning mage he humiliated on the train is watching his every move. The teacher sees a test, but our guy sees a recruitment fair for his next generation of X-rank heroes. Or even better, a shopping list of rare skills he's about to add to his personal collection. And just his luck, he's up first against a fiery mage from the Ruby Tower. He knows her type well. The Ruby Tower produces glass cannons, all firepower and no defense. But he's not here to win. He just needs her to play along with his little act for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, she's disappointed. How is she supposed to build a reputation by beating a total nobody? She scoffs at his weapon, an E-rank starter item that even a newbie would be embarrassed to use. She's already got him pegged, a low-level support mage, probably all buffs and no bite. Her conclusion, he's a stationary turret, an easy target for a master of flame magic. The bell rings and she unleashes a full-power inferno, ready to turn this nobody into a footnote. The crowd goes wild for the Ruby Tower's ace, but they're not the only ones watching her cast. The system gives her a perfect score, but it's not for damage. It's for how completely she just got played. She expected an easy win, not to have her ultimate spell fizzle out like a cheap firecracker. And there he stands, without a single scratch, looking like he just blocked a nuke with a toothpick. The embers die down, and the only thing burning is her pride as she stares at the impossible. Her mind races for an answer. Did this nobody really just counter her with a high-level dispel spell? Fine. If one spell won't work, she'll just unleash an even bigger one, trapping him in a ring of fire. She's sure he can't block this, but our guy looks about as worried as a god watching an ant. He doesn't just block it, he stands in the middle of her inferno and dares her to make a move. But then she sees it. He's not just standing there, he's casting a spell of his own. He's not just standing there, he's grading her performance and she's getting an F. She's done playing games. If he's so confident, she's about to wipe that smirk right off his face. She doubles down, unleashing a fire pillar meant to turn the entire arena into a crater. But our guy doesn't even flinch. He's seen bigger firecrackers in the tutorial. The crowd thinks it's over, but they're all watching the wrong fight. She's out of breath and out of ideas because her ultimate attack just got swatted away like a gnat. And there he is, without a single burn, making her question everything the Ruby Tower ever taught her. But he's not countering with fire. He's using the lightning spell he stole on the train, and her jaw hits the floor. She recognizes the spell, but it's impossible. He's not a lightning mage. Plot twist. He didn't just copy the spell, he perfected it, and he's about to give her a free lesson in her own arena. One hit, and the Ruby Tower's ace is completely paralyzed. Checkmate. But he doesn't go for the finish. He calls the match himself like he's the one in charge. He's not just beating her. He's giving her career advice, telling her not to show all her cards on day 1. She's completely humiliated, frozen by a spell she's never even seen from a guy who shouldn't exist. The scoreboard confirms the impossible, and the entire freshman class is left wondering who this monster is. But our guy knows he just painted a massive target on his back. Being a legend is noisy. Before he can even catch his breath, the announcer calls his name again. This school doesn't believe in breaks. And his next opponent is none other than Song Chun-hae, the lightning mage he embarrassed on the train. She walks into the arena radiating pure revenge, promising to expose whatever secret he's hiding. But just as the grudge match of the century is about to start, he forfeits, leaving everyone completely speechless. The human butcher himself is speechless. Why would a monster just throw in the towel? Our guy gives the lamest excuse in the book, claiming he's too sick to fight after just dominating an ace. He sticks to his story, confirming the forfeit and leaving his rival absolutely fuming. But while he's playing weak, his hand is secretly pulsing with dark energy. This isn't a forfeit, it's a power-up. The lightning mage calls him pathetic, trying to school him with a lesson on battle readiness. She launches into a passionate speech, quoting her legendary grandfather about what it takes to be a true hero. And our guy just remembers, oh yeah, her grandpa is the Thunder Monarch. That explains the theatrics. She's channeling the spirit of a legend, but for our protagonist, it's just background noise. He completely shuts down her heroic moment with a casual wave, basically telling her, you win, whatever. And just like that, he walks away, leaving the future legend feeling like an idiot for ever taking him seriously. She's so thrown off she actually asks him what he wants. And his price for the humiliation? A dessert coupon. He's not just a monster, he's a menace. She's not just angry, she's promising a rematch, and this time it's going to be a war. With our guy out of the picture, she gets a new challenger who has no idea he just became her personal punching bag. Her opponent tries to look tough, but he's about to become a live demonstration of her frustration. She doesn't even hesitate, unleashing an attack that proves she's every bit the legend her grandfather is. And the scoreboard tells the whole story, a one-sided beatdown that leaves no room for doubt. Her opponent is left completely fried, a smoking reminder of what happens when you get in her way. The peanut gallery breathes a sigh of relief, realizing our guy's forfeit wasn't cowardice. It was a 200 IQ play. But our guy isn't even watching, because while she was fighting, his secret power-up was finally kicking in. He's not just watching a fight, he's admiring the branding of a future legend he plans to exploit. And just like that, the school's rumor mill writes him off as a lucky coward, the perfect cover. But he's not just accepting the rumors, he's orchestrating them because being underestimated is his ultimate weapon. The announcer calls the next match, and our guy wonders who the next poor soul is to face the Thunder Monarch's wrath. Plot twist. It's Seo Ye-in, the quiet girl from the train, and she's not a support class, she's a dual-wielding gunner. Even our all-knowing protagonist is caught off guard, realizing his perfect knowledge of this world has another massive blind spot. The disciplinary committee member chimes in. Gunners are a hard counter for mages, and this just became the upset of the year. The shonen hero scoffs, but our guy knows this isn't about class advantage, it's about who has the bigger secrets. He sees his opening, not just to watch a fight, but to profit from it, and casually proposes a friendly little wager, and the shonen hero takes the bait, completely unaware he just made a deal with the devil himself. The lightning prodigy versus the mystery gunner, the match of the century is about to begin. The bell rings and the quiet girl goes on an all-out offensive, guns blazing from the get-go. She unloads a storm of mana bullets, but the lightning mage doesn't even flinch. With a flick of her wrist, she deflects every shot, proving she's in a completely different league. While the hero is stunned, our guy just smirks because this beatdown is going exactly according to his plan. He breaks it down. She's a prodigy who can turn a basic spell into a work of art, and she's just getting warmed up. The gunner is completely overwhelmed. Caught in a storm of lightning she has no way of stopping. She's on the ropes, her surprise attack completely neutralized, and now she's just trying to survive. The Thunder Monarch's heir prepares to end it, ready to make an example out of her. And a direct hit lands, leaving everyone wondering if the match is already over. But the quiet girl isn't out yet. She dodges the kill shot, but the lightning still clips her, sending a jolt through her system. The hero is stunned she survived, but our guy sees the trap. Her movements are already slowed, and the next hit is a guarantee. The committee member calls the match, predicting an easy win now that the gunner is stunned and vulnerable. But just as the final blow is about to land, the gunner reveals her real plan. This was never a gunfight. The lightning mage flinches, but it's not an explosive, it's a smoke grenade, and the rules of the fight just changed. The hero finally gets it. It's a brilliant move to bypass her magic defenses, but our guy knew this was coming all along. The hero declares this is the gunner's turf now, where a mage's sight is useless and every shadow could be a threat. And the first shot from the smoke nearly takes her head off, forcing the prodigy onto the back foot for the first time. She barely avoids a direct hit, but the shockwave alone throws her off balance, and her composure is starting to crack. Before she can recover, the gunner is already closing in, and the lightning prodigy realizes she's just been perfectly outplayed. The shonen hero realizes the quiet girl isn't just skilled, she's rich enough to afford an invisibility cloak on day one. And she's not just a one-trick pony, she's already switched to a rifle, adapting her tactics on the fly. The lightning prodigy grits her teeth, forced to deflect a shot that was never meant to hit, only to distract. She realizes she's been completely cornered. Playing defense against a gunner is a death sentence. The gunner presses her advantage, turning the arena into her personal playground of acrobatic attacks. But the prodigy isn't down for the count. She starts reading the flow of mana, predicting the bullets before they're even fired. In a split second, she unleashes her ultimate defense, turning the entire arena into a lightning storm. It's a desperate, all-or-nothing move designed to flush her out of the smoke and into the open. But the gunner does the impossible, using the lightning bolts themselves as a staircase to the sky. And that's when the prodigy smirks, because the gunner just walked right into her real trap. She unleashes her ultimate attack, a cage of lightning with nowhere to run, and the gunner gets caught, taking the full force of a future legend's power. Just like that, the prodigy proves her point. The match is over. But while the hero is losing his mind, our guy just calmly collects his winnings. He knew this was the outcome all along. The scoreboard makes it official, declaring the Thunder Monarch's heir the undisputed queen of the freshmen. But the gunner didn't just lose, she survived, pushing a prodigy to the time limit and proving she's a monster in her own right. The shonen hero pays up, but you can tell losing the bet stings less than seeing his friend lose. He's so fired up he wants to go double or nothing, but our guy knows a bad bet when he sees one. Because the next fight isn't a gamble, it's the shonen hero's turn in the spotlight. And his opponent is none other than the Fist King's disciple, turning this placement test into a battle of legacies. Our guy calls his shot, betting against his own friend and putting his money on the Fist King's disciple. He's not being a bad friend, he's making a prophecy. The match will be won, but his friend won't lose. And with a cryptic smile, he leaves everyone guessing, because in his playbook, winning and losing aren't the only options. Meanwhile, the shonen hero isn't just fighting an opponent. He's fighting to impress the one man whose approval he craves. He grips his sword, ready to show his new mentor what he's made of, but he can already feel the pressure of a true legacy. His opponent goes straight for the ego, calling out the giant sealed weapon on his back. But the hero refuses to be baited, saving his trump card for a fight that truly matters. With no weapon drawn, the Fist King's disciple takes his stance, ready to prove that raw power beats any blade. The shonen hero meets his gaze, sword drawn, ready to answer the challenge with steel. The bell rings, and the Fist King's disciple explodes forward, turning a test of skill into a high-speed collision. The hero meets the charge, but it's like trying to stop a freight train with a toothpick. Even our shonen star has to admit it. The Fist King's disciple has footwork that's already legendary. It's a perfect stalemate. The immovable sword versus the unstoppable fist. Correction. The sword is very, very movable, and it just got sent flying across the arena. The hero realizes the terrifying truth. That wasn't even his opponent's full power. The disciple doesn't let up, unleashing a second attack meant to end this fight for good. Backed into a corner, the hero unleashes his family's secret weapon, the blue sword technique. It's a clash of legacies, the ultimate sword technique versus the ultimate fist. And in a single, devastating blow, the hero's ultimate technique is shattered into pieces. With his sword and his pride broken, the shonen hero admits defeat and our guy's prophecy comes true. The victor shows his respect, but our hero just walks away, because for him, this loss was all part of the plan. From the stands, our guy isn't even surprised. He knew that cheap sword would shatter from the start. He's not just analyzing the fight, he's confirming a theory he's had since he first saw that technique on the train. And the diagnosis is in, the hero's family is so rich they treat legendary sword techniques like they're disposable. The info broker is losing his mind, demanding to know how our guy predicted the outcome so perfectly. But our protagonist cuts him off mid-panic, because it's time to pay the man who called it all. He hits him with the bill, but the broker is broke, realizing he just made a bet with the one person you never bet against. But our guy isn't after money. He's playing a much, much bigger game. He doesn't want cash, he wants secrets, turning a simple wager into a high-stakes intelligence exchange. With the arena battles over, the school announces the next test, a real-world dungeon raid after lunch. Our guy is trying to talk business, but the info broker is too busy mumbling prophecies into his sandwich. With the sandwich gone, our guy lays out his price, a full breakdown of this school's future legends. Forget the student council, these are the 4 factions that really run this school. First up is the Murim Alliance's ace, the grandson of the legendary Sword Saint, and from the Magic Tower, a familiar face. The Ruby Tower's ace he just humiliated in the arena. The Guild Union has a druid with a tiger cub, but the real threat is the one hiding in the shadows. And representing the Knight Order is none other than our shonen hero, the son of the Swordmaster. And that's the list, a handful of students who are basically guaranteed to become gods. But while the broker was dropping intel, our protagonist has already vanished without a trace. He panics, remembering a meeting he completely forgot, and the club president sounds like someone you don't keep waiting. The info broker makes a run for it, leaving our guy to deal with the fallout alone. But he's not alone. The quiet gunner is still here, and she's been watching his every move. For the first time, she feels a bond, and our protagonist realizes he might have just accidentally made an ally. And she cuts right to the point, asking about the one thing that started this entire chaotic mess, her cookie. He doesn't just answer. He flexes the dessert coupon he extorted from the lightning prodigy as compensation. He cashes in his winnings, turning a simple coupon into a peace offering, and she's officially intrigued. But she's not just here for cake. She has a question that's been burning in her mind since the match. She asks for the one thing no one else can give her, the real reason she lost her fight against a legend. He gives her the textbook answer, but the look on his face says the real masterclass is about to begin. And then he drops the bombshell. Her power isn't the problem, it's how she's using it, and he's about to teach her how to break the game. But his jaw hits the floor when she admits she's never even done basic mana training, the equivalent of a pro athlete never learning to run. Which begs the question, how did a girl who doesn't know the first thing about magic push a future legend to her absolute limit? Our boy casually admits he's never even learned the most basic combat skill, and her mind is absolutely blown. This isn't an amateur, it's a natural-born genius. He's been taking down elite fighters with nothing but raw instinct this entire time. Then he has the audacity to offer to train her, the one with actual skills. He's so confident you'd think he was the master here, not the guy who's basically a blank slate. But the friendly chat is over, because it's time for the placement test and the whole school is watching. The instructor lays down the law, a 10-minute dungeon trial with two very special, very nasty rules. Rule 1 is a high-score frenzy. Take out as many monsters as you can before the timer hits 0. But Rule 2 is the ultimate equalizer. Everyone's skills and gear are nerfed to the absolute bottom. And the final gut punch, your core drops too, meaning one mistake with your mana and you're completely defenseless. The first group gets absolutely demolished, proving this equalizer test is a total meat grinder. Out of everyone, the instructor only sees 2 students who are even remotely useful. The top score is set, the bar is high, and now it's our hero's turn on the chopping block. And of course, he's partnered with the very same elite fighter he just offered to train. He immediately starts giving her orders, handing her a rifle like he's the team captain. The crowd is baffled. He's giving a master swordsman advice on gunplay. But he just flashes that smug grin and walks into the dungeon like he owns the place. The system kicks in, the fix zone is engaged, and all bets are officially off. He steps into the trial, and instead of being nerfed, he says it feels like coming home. A monster spawns right behind him, but he's not even looking. He's just checking his stats, ready for a warm-up. He doesn't even flinch, just casually glances at the clock as a monster lunges for his throat. The clock starts, and the goblin goes in for the kill, thinking it's got an easy meal. But our boy isn't the meal. He's the one serving up a face full of wood. He sends the monster flying with a single swing, already breaking down the dungeon's rules. Random to everyone else, but for him, it's just another predictable pattern he's already solved. He doesn't even wait for the next spawn. He throws a dagger exactly where it's about to appear. And just like he called it, a massive orc materializes right into the path of his blade. Bullseye. One monster down before it even knew it was in a fight. He doesn't even watch it fall, already dismissing his own weapon as unnecessary. Why bring a weapon when the dungeon provides an entire arsenal for you to borrow from your enemies? He's not just surviving, he's farming this place like it's a low-level starting zone. The dungeon escalates, throwing a pair of trolls at him, but he's already thinking 3 steps ahead. Just as he's about to clean house, he realizes something far more dangerous than any monster. His biggest secret isn't his power. It's that he has to literally delete the evidence of his genius to maintain his cover. In just 3 minutes, he's already racked up a score that would make the previous top ranker weep. But here's the twist. He's not trying to win, he's trying to score just low enough to stay off the radar. He's got his points, he's completed his secret objective, and now he's just gonna walk out with time to spare. But he's not the only one who finished, and his partner is waiting for him right at the exit. And get this, she didn't just survive, she absolutely dominated, landing a score that even surpasses his. He acts like it was a walk in the park, but her face tells you she just went through 10 minutes of absolute hell. The instructor gives him a pat on the back, all while thinking he's just another quitter who couldn't last 10 minutes. He scoffs at our boy's supposed lack of resolve, but then a sudden realization stops him dead in his tracks. Because the scoreboard tells a different story, this dropout somehow snagged a mid-high rank in a fraction of the time. Suddenly, our hero isn't just some random kid, he's a mystery that needs to be solved. But the test waits for no one, and the next challenger, Go Hyunwoo, walks into the portal with ice-cold confidence. The leaderboard is stacked with legends, the children of swordmasters and saints, setting a nearly impossible bar to clear. While everyone else is focused on the famous names, our hero knows the real monster is the one he just coached. And boom! The scoreboard shatters as Hyunwoo doesn't just beat the record, he obliterates it with a 4-digit score. Hyunwoo emerges and the crowd loses its mind, questioning how anyone could possibly break the 1,000-point barrier. But the biggest twist of all? The new number one walks right past the crowd, straight to our hero, and says it was all thanks to him. Hyunwoo gives all the credit to our boy, who just plays it off like it was nothing. Of course, some random hater immediately accuses him of clinging to the top ranker like a coward. And the new number one is ready to defend his mentor's honor, fists first. But our hero just holds him back with a wink, completely unbothered by the noise. Hyunwoo reluctantly stands down, but you can see he's already loyal to his new brother. The dust settles, but they realize one legendary name still hasn't posted a score. Right on cue, the portal roars back to life. The final challenger is here. Meet Lady Chun-hee, a walking thunderstorm who's tearing through the dungeon like it's made of paper, but her face of absolute confidence suddenly twists into pure disbelief, because her god-tier lightning attack just fizzles out, barely even slowing the monsters down. And just like that, the useless advice from our hero clicks in her head at the worst possible moment. She finally gets it. With nerfed mana, wide area attacks are a waste, it's precision or nothing. So she ditches the light show and channels every last drop of power into a single monster-ending strike. But she emerges defeated, her pride shattered, only to run smack into the very crew she wanted to impress. The instructor officially ends the placement test, but you can tell by his face the real investigation is just beginning. He dismisses the class, but he can't dismiss the nagging suspicion that one student played him for a fool. So he makes a little detour, because a mystery this big requires pulling some strings behind the scenes. He demands to see the replay log for one person, the supposed quitter, Kim Ho. The instructor isn't asking, he's demanding answers, and his eyes are practically burning holes in the staff. But here's the kicker. The replay doesn't exist because our boy didn't just beat the system, he erased the evidence. The staffer is freaking out because the one piece of evidence they need has vanished into thin air. And the instructor connects the dots. This wasn't a system glitch, it was a deliberate cover-up. It's not a suspicion anymore, it's a cold, hard fact. Our guy is hiding something massive. The math doesn't add up. This quitter was on pace to shatter every record in the book, so why did he stop? His mind immediately jumps to the worst-case scenario. Our hero isn't a student. He's an enemy spy sent to infiltrate the academy. The staffer wants to sound the alarm, but the instructor knows acting rashly is the fastest way to lose his target. So he makes the call. No alerts, no alarms, just quiet observation for now. He's betting that a monster can't pretend to be a sheep forever, and he'll be there when the mask finally slips. And just like that, Kim Ho goes from being a mystery to being the instructor's personal obsession. Meanwhile, the most dangerous man in the academy is just trying to figure out what coffee is. While the pride of the Chun family slinks away in defeat, our hero and his new number one are just getting started. The placement test is over, but for our boy, class is officially in session. He's not just teaching combat, he's giving a masterclass on how to break the entire academy system. And the first lesson is about the school's secret currency, a little something called points that just appeared out of nowhere. In Dragon Slayer Academy, your rank is temporary, but your wallet is everything. You can buy gear and upgrades, but our hero knows the one thing you really need to spend your points on. He brings up that little replay prompt everyone ignored, revealing it's not just a feature, it's a weapon. Because while the instructor is hunting for a deleted file, our boy is just buying the competition's data off the open market. And just like that, he's watching a full replay of another student's run, analyzing every move and every mistake. Better yet, he reveals that Hyunwoo's top-ranking performance is now a bestseller, making them both rich without lifting a finger. But our hero immediately rains on the parade, revealing that selling your replay is like handing your enemies the blueprints to your defeat. And the new number one admits it. He's a glass cannon, and without the dungeon's rules, his weak core would get him flattened in a real fight. But Kim Ho isn't worried, because those points are the key to the one place that can turn a weakness into a weapon. He reveals the Academy's biggest secret, a special mana room that's basically a power-leveling cheat code. Hyunwoo's mind is blown, but our boy drops the other shoe. A place this powerful isn't open to just anyone. The price of entry is a staggering 500 points for 6 hours, a cost that would bankrupt even the top ranker. Hyunwoo realizes the cruel irony. He can't afford the training he needs to defend his number one spot. But just as despair sets in, our hero flashes that grin and reveals a secret backdoor into the system, a season pass. The only problem? You have to take down the ace of the sword-wielding club to get one, a challenge Hyunwoo knows he can't win. So our boy just casually offers to get one for him, asking for nothing but a single unspecified favor in return. The price isn't money, It's a suicide run into a high-level dungeon with him as the guide. He even gives him an out, admitting this little field trip could be a one-way ticket. But for Hyunwoo, the fear of death is nothing compared to the path to true power. And just like that, the #1 ranker pledges his life to our boy, no questions asked. With the deal sealed, our hero leaves his new apprentice to grind while he heads off to make a little trade of his own. But his destination isn't some fancy club room. It's a forgotten workshop in the academy's back alleys. Inside, he finds a lone craftsman who is less than thrilled to have a visitor. He plays the part of a clueless freshman, but the senior immediately knows something is off. Because it turns out our boy wasn't invited, he was sent here as a cruel prank by the club's elites. The senior tries to kick him out, having no idea he's about to dismiss the one person who can change everything. But our boy just brushes off the hostility with a smile, because he's not here to make friends, he's here to shoplift a skill. He immediately pegs the senior's talent as B-rank magic engineering. Not bad, but for him, it's just another item on the list. And with a casual reach, he activates his copy ability, stealing the senior's life's work without him even noticing. Just like that, a B-rank skill is his, and he didn't even have to break a sweat. With one objective down, he starts browsing the workshop for his real prize, right under the senior's nose. And then he spots it, the legendary blueprint everyone thought was just a myth. He plays the fool, presenting the cube blueprint like he found a shiny rock, and the senior takes the bait. The craftsman calls it useless trash, but our hero knows he's holding the key to a god-tier weapon, so he offers a trade, pulling out a rare catalyst he bought with Hyunwoo's replay money. The senior scoffs at the item, but then it hits him. This useless reagent is the one thing he desperately needs. The senior hands over the trash blueprint, thinking he just pulled the ultimate scam on a clueless freshman. But our boy walks away with a grin because he didn't just get a discount, he got a legendary item for the price of pocket change. And the system confirms it. That useless blueprint is actually the key to a hidden high-tier quest line. He scoffs at the quest because who needs a guide when you've already read the entire book? Because the final reward isn't just good, it's an S-rank item, the legendary Cube of Life. And then he drops the biggest bombshell yet. He's not a student, he's a master who's raised S-class heroes before. He doesn't need the quest because he's already memorized the recipe for a god-tier weapon. He uses the skill he just stole, temporarily boosting his power to S-rank to begin the ultimate crafting session. But this isn't a simple build, it's a race against time, with his boosted skill ticking down every second. And here's the catch. Even with godlike skills, crafting a legend is going to take 3 straight days of non-stop work. The timer hits 0, his god-tier skill vanishes, and the 1-hour cooldown begins. He can't touch the cube without S-rank power, so he spends the downtime meditating, turning every second into a training opportunity. This is his new life. 1 hour of grinding his core, 1 minute of forging a legend, over and over again. The cooldown ends, he reactivates his stolen power, and the 60-second race to build a god-tier item starts all over. But this isn't just for fun. He's on a hard deadline, because a world-shaking event is about to trigger, and this cube is his only key. After an all-night session of breaking the laws of magic, he just casually strolls into school like any other student. And who's the first person he runs into? The very same prideful genius he humbled during the test, Lady Chunhye. He's not here for her, though. He's looking for his new apprentice, leaving her completely bewildered. Then he completely shatters her expectations by offering her a cookie, like they're old friends sharing a snack. And our boy, the master manipulator and future legend, is absolutely thrilled by a dinosaur cookie, leaving the prodigy utterly speechless. He cuts the small talk and gets straight to business, asking his new apprentice for a progress report. And the #1 ranker is practically glowing, revealing the cheat code room is even more broken than they thought. Our boy promises to get him that season pass, solidifying his role as the master pulling all the strings. But the friendly chat is cut short as the instructor walks in, and you can feel the entire room tense up. He wastes no time dropping the next bombshell. Starting today, the Academy is a PvP deathmatch zone. The rules are simple and brutal. Fight 3 matches this week or the system will bleed your wallet dry. While everyone else is panicking, a new challenger emerges from the crowd, his eyes burning with a desire to win. But our hero just smiles, checking his own stats like he's already won the tournament before it's even started. Because for him, this isn't a test. It's another hidden quest, and he plans on collecting every single reward. He's not just planning to win, he's planning to get rich, telling his apprentice they're fighting now to cash in on the replay market. But before he can make his exit, the prodigy he just humbled grabs him, refusing to be ignored. She completely swallows her pride, admitting she's free and ready to become his student, right here and now. And the number one ranker is absolutely stunned. Is his master already taking on a new apprentice? Our boy just plays it cool, agreeing to the private lesson while the whole class watches in disbelief. Hyunwoo reluctantly steps aside, but you can see the fire of a new rivalry has just been lit. That afternoon, they head to the arena, the gladiator pit where reputations are made and broken. They've barely walked in when Hyunwoo spots another fighter, a guy with a story written all over his face. The crowd is already whispering. He's the infamous coward who forfeited a high-profile match. But Hyunwoo's not having it, instantly shutting down the trash talk and defending the stranger's honor. The disgraced fighter overhears everything, grabbing his own collar in pure, pathetic self-loathing. Just then, another fighter shows up trying to get friendly with the new number one. But the moment he hears Hyunwoo's score, he scoffs, mocking him for being on the same level as a common swordsman. He tries to save face, blaming his own low score on a bad matchup against the lightning prodigy, Chunhye. But our boy just connects the dots with a sly grin, asking if he was the one who got zapped and carried out. And in an instant, the bully's smug confidence completely evaporates. Kim Ho sees his opening, pointing out their identical scores make for a perfect first match. The guy completely loses his cool, challenging the coward to a duel he's sure he can't lose. But the scoreboard reveals the twist. He's not fighting the number one ranker, he's fighting our hero, Kim Ho. He charges forward, promising to end this fight in a single humiliating blow. And our boy just smiles back, agreeing to a one-shot victory, but he's not the one who's going to be on the receiving end. The bully goes all out, launching a full-power attack to end this in one glorious strike. But our boy just watches the blade come at his face with the calmest, most terrifying smile you've ever seen. Because the attack never lands, the bully is frozen midair, caught in a paralysis trap he walked right into. Kim Ho apologizes in advance because this isn't going to be a quick knockout. It's going to be a lesson. The loudmouth starts begging for a timeout, but mercy isn't on the menu today. And just like that, the scoreboard flips, and the coward takes the win without breaking a sweat. The loser refuses to accept defeat, screaming that he only lost because he let his guard down. Our hero just shrugs and says, "Oh, really? Then let's go again," calling his bluff in front of the entire school. Round 2 begins, and the bully charges in, desperate to reclaim his shattered pride. But our boy ends the rematch before it even starts, yawning as he walks away from the twice-beaten challenger. He's already got 2 wins down, but he's about to play his opponent for the third and final match he needs. He offers to teach the guy he just flattened, but not before stuffing his face with cookies. And then he hits him with the ultimate power move, demanding a tuition fee from the guy he just wiped the floor with. The loser hands over a family heirloom, a rare spirit pill, just for the chance to learn from his new master. But our boy adds one more condition. This lesson stays off the record and the replay gets deleted forever. With payment secured, he agrees to play along, which is his code for, "I'm about to beat you a third time for my own benefit." And the lesson is a third decisive beatdown, completing his quest and leaving the bully in the dust. But instead of rage, the defeated fighter gets up and offers a sincere apology, finally realizing who he was messing with. He declares that our hero is no coward, finally giving him the respect he deserves. But our boy just walks away with a smirk, telling him to keep calling him a coward, because the mask is more important than the glory. His apprentice is enjoying the chaos a little too much, thinking misery loves company. With his 3 matches in the bag, our boy checks in on his number 1 student's progress. Hyunwoo heads off to finish his last fight, leaving the master to his next appointment. And that appointment is with the lightning prodigy, who's been waiting patiently for her private lesson. He wastes no time, sitting her down to teach her the one skill she's been missing her entire life. But when he asks for a simple mana bullet, she produces a wobbly mess that's more of a fire hazard than a weapon. He's not impressed. He's baffled at how a genius with this little control even functions in a real fight. So lesson 1 begins. Forget the light show. It's time to learn the absolute basics of mana distribution. But he's not teaching from a textbook. He's showing her a replay of another student's flawless victory. Because the enemy isn't a monster, it's a sniper who's turned the entire battlefield into his personal hiding spot. The replay shows a master sniper, Seo Yane, who doesn't need to see her target. She just follows the mana. Her opponent is laughing, thinking his barrier is foolproof, but he's about to learn a very hard lesson. Because she doesn't aim for the barrier. She aims for the one tiny flaw he never saw coming. And just like that, his entire defense shatters, along with his ego. She doesn't even flinch. just gives a little smirk like it was target practice. And to add insult to injury, she takes him out with the most humiliating final shot imaginable. But our boy isn't just watching for fun. He's already analyzing Chunhye's new, terrifying level of control. And he's not the only one. The instructor is watching the same fight, realizing the prodigy he wrote off is now a monster. But her sudden power-up isn't the real problem. It's the other student who's giving him nightmares. He pulls up Seo Yane's old placement test, and the evidence is undeniable. Her mana control used to be absolute garbage. The instructor can't believe his eyes. The student with trash-tier mana control is now a perfect marksman. And it all clicks. The two students with impossible growth spurts have one person in common. His investigation leads him to a single, terrifying conclusion. Kim Ho is the puppet master behind it all. Meanwhile, the most wanted man in the academy is calmly finishing his secret project. After 3 days of breaking the laws of magic, he finally holds his prize, the Cube of Life, a B-rank item that's just the first step to building a god-tier weapon. He spent every waking hour cycling between crafting and meditating, a brutal, self-imposed training hell, and with one final surge of power, the legendary artifact is born. But B-rank is just the starting line. He already knows the recipe to upgrade this into an S-rank monster. And thanks to the tuition fee he scammed off that bully, he even managed to level up his own skills in the process. With his legendary item complete, it's time to stop hiding in the shadows and start setting the perfect trap. And his first target is a druid prodigy from the Nature Club, who he just so happens to run into in the hallway. He doesn't even have to say a word. The Cube of Life he's carrying is already doing all the talking for him. Because he knows that while humans can be fooled, an animal's instincts never, ever lie. And just like that, her spirit animal makes a beeline for the cube, proving his theory right on the money. The little guy makes itself right at home, and our boy just watches as his master plan unfolds perfectly. And now the druid can feel it too. An overwhelming aura of life energy she's never experienced before. He plays it off like an inconvenience, yanking the bait away just as she's about to take a closer look. But it's too late. She's already hooked, desperate to know more about the mysterious student and his impossible artifact. The rumor is planted, the hook is set, and with the Nature Club on his trail, the real game is finally about to begin. While the professor drones on about textbook battles, our hero is preparing for a real war. Because he's not waiting for lunch, he's counting down to the moment the entire academy gets turned upside down. The teacher dismisses the class, completely unaware she's sending them straight into a system-wide ambush. The clock hits 0, and just as everyone relaxes, a mysterious red orb crashes the party. The entire class panics as the strange device pulses with a sinister, unknown energy, and then it detonates, zapping every student in the room with a flash of red light. The orb vanishes as quickly as it appeared, leaving everyone dazed, confused, and marked by its power. Because that little jolt wasn't just a scare, it was a brand, and this poor guy is now officially marked as number 1. But he's not alone. The panic doubles as they realize everyone has been branded with a mysterious number. And then the system drops the hammer. It's a surprise inspection, and a massive ban wave is about to sweep through the school. The system's goal is simple and brutal. Find every piece of contraband and make the owners pay. But while the school erupts in chaos, our hero just sips his coffee, already knowing who's making all the noise. His apprentice isn't worried either, but that's because he's a minimalist who doesn't even own a wallet. And just as predicted, the first victim starts screaming, completely blindsided by the system he just walked into. Our boy swoops in like a concerned friend, asking if his club leader forgot to give him the memo. The poor guy is spiraling, realizing if he gets caught with this much illegal gear, his career is over. And right on cue, our hero dangles the bait, offering to make this whole problem just disappear. The student goes from panicked to begging, promising to do literally anything to get out of this mess. With a single sentence, our boy turns a desperate student into his newest, most loyal subordinate, and his master plan is revealed. He's using the legendary Cube of Life as a secret, undetectable contraband locker. He tells the guy to stop asking questions and just trust the magic box because they are running out of time. And just like that, the panicked senior becomes his first official minion, just as the inspectors close in. Right on cue, the student council kicks down the door, led by a woman who's not here to make friends. She immediately spots our hero and his new lackey, demanding to know exactly what they're hiding. He pops up with the most pathetic excuse in the book, and you can practically see her rolling her eyes. She's not playing games, demanding they hand over any illegal gear before she finds it herself. Then she pulls out her secret weapon, a crystal that can sniff out contraband from a mile away. But when she puts our boy to the test, her foolproof lie detector comes up completely blank. He just shrugs it off, and with her pride completely shattered, she has no choice but to let him walk. And as he strolls away, you see that smug grin, because this wasn't a close call, it was a perfectly executed heist. He's not just grateful, he's realizing our boy handed him an item that grants total immunity, a prize that assassins would kill for. His new minion is practically kissing the ground he walks on, knowing he was just saved from total ruin. But our hero isn't a charity. He just puts the favor on a tab, and his new boss title is officially sealed. And just like that, he gets an invitation to the one place he wanted to go all along, the club room of the Academy's shadiest crew. Meet the Thieves Club, the official troublemakers of Dragon Slayer Academy, and our boy is about to walk right into their den. His new guide nervously announces their arrival to the boss lady, but our hero looks like he's just here for a cup of tea. But the welcome party is a foot to the face, as the boss lady sends her own subordinate flying for breaking a promise. She's not just mad, she's delivering a brutal lesson right on the floor, and her own crewmate is begging for mercy. And while all this chaos is happening, our hero just strolls in with a smile, calmly reporting for duty. She introduces herself as Dang Guyung, the club leader, without even bothering to take her foot off her fallen lackey. She cuts right to the chase, demanding to see the legendary item that can fool the entire academy system. He just hands it over like it's nothing, and the boss lady's skepticism instantly turns to pure, unadulterated greed. She admits she'd steal it in a heartbeat, but something in her gut tells her this cube is more than it seems. And our boy just smiles, calling her bluff and revealing the item is booby-trapped against thieves. He plays her like a fiddle, knowing the one thing a master thief can't resist is a puzzle she can't solve. Defeated, she drops the act and gets down to business, because a man this prepared is either a genius or a madman. She tries to play the poverty card, claiming the Thieves' Club is broke, but our boy isn't buying it for a second. He assures her his price is something she can afford, and now she's on the edge of her seat dying to know the catch. And then he asks for the one thing she never expected: access to the club's secret contraband vault. The friendly negotiation is over, and with ice in her eyes, she asks the one question on everyone's mind. Who is he, really? He's not just asking for a key. He's asking for a map to the Academy's most secret, most illegal treasure chest. She's not just suspicious, she's convinced he's a rat sent by the student council to bring her down. But he just brushes off the accusation with a wink, admitting he's not a spy, he's just a professional thief. The boss lady makes it clear, favors are for friends and he's about to pay a very steep price for this one. She lays out the facts. It's a fortress guarded by the school's elite, and a break-in is a one-way ticket to expulsion. But our boy just flashes that grin, because he's not offering to help her break in. He's offering her a guaranteed getaway car. And just like that, the gears start turning in her head. Why settle for a fee when you can steal the whole damn vault? He goes in for the kill, laying the perfect trap and asking the one question she can't possibly refuse. The deal is struck, the crew is assembled, and tonight, they're going to rob the school blind. The boss lady takes charge because the time for talking is over. It's heist night at Dragon Slayer Academy. The crew is assembled, but they're all wondering who the hell the new guy is. The boss lady just shoves him into the lineup, telling her crew to play nice with the new recruit. The crew is immediately skeptical, but our boy just ignores the haters and plays along with the one guy who isn't a total jerk. The clock is ticking, and the tech guy announces they have exactly 1 minute until go time. The boss lady starts barking orders, assigning roles and getting her team ready for the breach. She gives him one last warning: stay in the shadows and grab only the good stuff because this isn't a game. And with a whisper of dark energy, she gives the signal, and the whole crew melts into the shadows. The entire squad moves like ghosts, a silent, coordinated strike to break into the school's vault. But our boy isn't just following orders. He's analyzing her B-rank skill, ready to add it to his collection. And with a single touch, he activates his copy ability, stealing the boss lady's signature move before the heist has even begun. The crew's lookout is so confident he's practically humming a victory tune before the heist even starts. But his night is ruined by a single, beautiful, and very deadly butterfly that appears out of nowhere. Because that's no butterfly. It's a shadow-severing security trap, and it just went off in his face. And just like that, the lookout is out of commission, taken down by the school's own elite defenses. Meanwhile, our hero is already inside with the main crew, casually complaining about how troublesome the security is. But their stealth mission hits a snag when they run headfirst into a student council guard. The guard tries to raise the alarm, but he's a second too late to stop the inevitable. The thieves move like lightning, neutralizing the guard before he can even get a spell off. They don't even break a sweat, telling their new captive to just relax and let it happen. The boss lady calls a halt. They're at the vault's door, and one wrong move means game over for everyone. The boss lady hits a wall. The final guard is a monster she knows she can't beat on her own. So our boy sighs, realizing his plan to stay in the shadows just went up in smoke. He asks her about a secret skill, and the boss lady's blood runs cold. How could this nobody know her signature move? She admits her trump card is still a work in progress, but he just smiles like a C rank is all he needs. And with a single word, he activates a cheat code, temporarily boosting her half-baked skill to A rank. She's completely losing her mind, but he just points forward because there's no time for an existential crisis during a heist. The boss lady's mind is racing. This isn't some freshman, he's a monster wearing a rookie's face. So she unleashes the attack he just gifted her, a storm of beautiful, deadly butterflies. The guard is completely blindsided, his confidence shattering as the swarm descends upon him. He swings his legendary axe in a panic, but it's like trying to cut through a nightmare he can't escape. The guard swings wildly, but he's already lost in a sea of beautiful, deadly magic. The butterflies converge, and just like that, the final obstacle is gift-wrapped for them. She can't believe her eyes. Her half-baked skill just took down a top-tier fighter in a single blow. She grabs him, promising a very serious conversation later, but for now it's time to get paid. The crew gets to work, grabbing everything that isn't nailed down while the boss is still reeling. But our boy isn't interested in their pocket change. He's here for the real prizes. He reveals the Academy's dirty little secret. Contraband is only illegal if it has side effects. And wouldn't you know it, he just so happens to have an S-rank skill that makes all those nasty side effects disappear. With his pockets full of forbidden treasures, he decides to go skillbook shopping next. And as he browses the forbidden library, his eyes land on a book that's about to change the game all over again. He's not just stealing items, he's casually picking up a new combat skill like it's a free sample. But the heist is officially over, because the student council just crashed the party. And it's not just any hall monitor, it's the student council president himself, and he's not here to make friends. The boss lady knows they're not just caught. They're caught by the two people in the academy you never, ever want to cross. The president cuts the chatter, giving them one chance to surrender before things get ugly. But the boss lady knows surrender means expulsion, so she's about to make a very different choice. She gives the only order that matters now: run for it! And with her shadow sanctuary, she creates the perfect smokescreen for a last-ditch escape. For a split second, it looks like they actually got away clean, leaving the student council in an empty room. But the disciplinary head just pulls out a tracking orb, because this chase is just getting started. The crew scatters, but our boy runs right into a dead end guarded by the academy's top enforcer. And his welcome wagon is a stone fist aimed directly at his face. He dodges by a hair's breadth, but the wall behind him gets completely pulverized. The enforcer is impressed, but he's already figured out our hero is an uninvited guest. He knows every face in the Thieves Club, and our boy's isn't on the list. Kim Ho stays silent, but his silence is the loudest confession of all. The enforcer stops asking questions and decides to let his fists do the talking. But our boy unleashes a surprise of his own, a lightning attack he definitely didn't have 5 minutes ago. The enforcer just scoffs, ready to crush the tiny bird with his bare hands. But that tiny bird is about to detonate with enough force to blow the entire floor off the map. The enforcer is stunned. He barely blocked an attack that should have been impossible for a freshman. But our boy doesn't give him a second to breathe, immediately closing the gap for a follow-up. And then he sees it. The enforcer's real power isn't in his fists, because the enforcer is a druid, and he just turned the entire hallway into a deadly, inescapable trap. He promises to finish this now, unleashing a barrage he's sure no student can possibly survive. The attack rains down, a storm of magic designed to leave nothing but a memory. The enforcer scoffs, thinking he's already won against the arrogant little thief. But a sudden, scorching heat stops him cold, a power that doesn't belong in this fight. Because our boy just ignited a legendary fire skill, and the enforcer recognizes it with pure, unadulterated terror.